You are listening to Let's Get Metaphysical. This podcast explores the spiritual and metaphysical world through the experiences and opinions of the host and those interviewed. It should not necessarily be seen as direct endorsement or personal advice to our listeners. We encourage you to use your own discernment, judgment, and intuition regarding anything you learn from this show.
Let's get meta.
Welcome to the Let's Get Metaphysical Podcast. I'm your host, Renata Maniaci, here to remind you that you are an eternal, spiritual light being having a temporary human experience here on lovely planet Earth. And more than that, if you are listening to this podcast right now, it is very likely that you came to the planet for this exact time to help Earth with her transition. Think of that. This exact moment, this time in our history is probably very likely why you incarnated into human form at this time. That's amazing. This is season 5, The Great Awakening. In this season, we are focusing on what I and many people are calling the Great Awakening, currently happening on planet Earth. Up until this season, I rarely have dove into my own views and perspectives on this show. But this episode and this season are different. I'm throwing all caution to the wind to impart what I see as necessary and vital information to anyone listening in to this podcast about what is happening right now in this world. We are focusing on awakening, and we will continue to do so for the foreseeable future. As always, I encourage you to think, feel, and know the truth, and truth with a capital T, for yourself. Take what resonates and leave the rest. The Great Awakening happening right now is multifaceted. It's many-leveled, many-layered. There are spiritual truths which are now allowed to be revealed for the first time, and there are dark truths, especially on the 3D level of our experience, that have been hidden from us for eons and are now coming into the light. I am interested in the truth. And if you are too, I urge you, especially now, do your own research. Understand that there is more going on here than meets the eye, both on the spiritual levels and the material 3D levels. So with that, let's jump into today's episode, Exit the Matrix. And this is going to be an interesting one. There is some unexpected things that came in through my guidance to share with you today, things that I was not planning to share. But I do, as you all know, I listen to my guidance, to my angelic teams. And as I've said before on this podcast, if you are not believing in angels, you're probably listening to the wrong podcast. But you're welcome to stay and listen to this one if that's intriguing to you. I do communicate with my angelic teams every day, and what's coming through here was not expected for this episode, but here we go anyway. Things are not always what they seem. And in fact, lately it seems like it's opposite day every day. What I thought was up is actually down, good actually bad, left is right, right is wrong, inside is outside, black is white. And I'm sorry to be so dualistic right now in this moment, but when I dip into the 3D consciousness, that's the third dimensional consciousness that much of the planet is in much of the time, it's like backwards land, you guys. It's not like this in the 4D or 5D realities, but when I consciously dip into third dimensional reality, where so many of us are most of the time, it is literally like the inside out. If you are listening to this like, I'm not feeling that this is the inside out or that this is backwards land, congratulations. You are probably spending most of your time in 4D or 5D, and more people are now. Really. So that's great. And try to stay there because you guys are helping bring everybody else into a higher vibration by maintaining a 4D or 5D vibration. So thank you. I mentioned before on recent episodes that we recently started a new Up, and Awaken production. As you all know, Let's Get Metaphysical Podcast is an Up, and Awaken production. We started a web series currently on our Up, and Awaken Productions YouTube channel called Wake Updates. This is a video series, so it's not just my voice. You actually get to see my face too. And our most recent episode was about the importance of neutrality, which is so hard right now, right? So difficult. People tearing each other apart left and right and center on every social media platform, every news channel. Families and dear friends are polarizing from each other even more than in our last presidential election. And when I say our last presidential election, I'm talking about the United States election, which was quite a zinger, folks. So much division. And I have my views and my beliefs and my knowings, but here's the question, and this is what we talked about on our most recent Wake Updates episode. Can I hold my own truths and still love everyone who is not experiencing those same truths? Can I remain neutral? And neutral does not equal complacency, folks. Neutral is not being complacent. Can I remain neutral and non-reactive when I see things all around me that I feel are so off and so far from the truth? And when let me go into this for a little bit. When I'm looking at my friends or family writing things on Facebook and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, the wool is pulled so far over their eyes. And you know what? They're probably thinking the exact same thing about me. And that's okay. Okay. So I'm sure that most of you listening to this, most of you hearing my voice right now have experienced this, right? One of your friends, one of your family, people that you're seeing on social media, you're looking at what they're writing and expressing, and you're like, what is going on right now, right? So can I still hold my truths and love everyone around me who's not experiencing those truths? Can I remain neutral and non-reactive and still love those around me for exactly where they are? Can I accept where they are at in their journey? Can I accept where I am at in my journey? And that's really what it's all about. If I can accept where I'm at, if I can be perfectly 100%, 1,000% good with where I am at in my journey, can't I be okay with where other people are, where other humans are, where other souls are on their journey without being reactive to that? The answer is yes, I can, but it's a challenge every day, and sometimes I fail. Neutrality is important so that we can remain present. When we are neutral and in the present moment, we are at our most powerful. This might sound like a cliche, or this might be the first time you're hearing this. If this is the first time you're hearing this, let me say it again. When we are neutral, when we're literally in neutral and we are in a non-reactive, observant space in the present moment, we are at our most powerful. And reactivity can look powerful, folks. We've been seeing that on TV. Breaking windows and painting things and making laws and all this stuff. These reactions can look very powerful. So being neutral and being in the present moment doesn't get so much of a buzz, nobody's talking about that. But you're actually at your most powerful when you're being in neutral. Try it and see, because you can make choices. You can make choices then. This is what the fourth dimension and above, the dimensions above the fourth dimension, is all about: the observer mode and non-reactivity, especially the fourth dimension. And that's the one just above 3D where we're leaving. This planet is leaving the third dimension. I've talked about this in my previous episodes. So that's what that's all about. But many people around the world are living in constant reactivity. They are surrounded by it. And sometimes this can be very powerful and lead to lasting and positive change. So I'm not saying that all reaction is bad, not by any means at all. I'm just pointing out how important neutrality can be and how powerful neutrality can be. But you know what? You want to know something that we can all get behind? And you're going to have to excuse me because I am about to intentionally bring the conversation into the third dimension just for a few moments here. I like to try to keep it very high vibe. And by that, I mean, observer mode or 5D mode. Okay. I am going to intentionally bring this conversation into the 3D for just a few moments because this is the surprising thing that my guidance was bringing in to talk about today. Here's something that any good, loving person with a human soul can get behind, and something that we're not hearing enough about yet. And we're starting to hear more about it, thank goodness, because it's a big piece in all of this, everyone. It's a big, big piece. Here's something that everyone can get behind. Ending child trafficking and child exploitation. And you all know, if you've listened to this podcast, I don't get into this kind of politics stuff much here. And just so you all know, I'm apolitical. I used to be a card-carrying Democrat my whole life, always voted Dem, and now I consider myself apolitical. This isn't about that at all. Ending child trafficking and child exploitation. I don't care who you are, who you voted for, whether you wear a mask or don't wear a mask. I don't care if you like vaccines or if you think they are evil. I don't care what party you give money to, what color your skin is, or any other thing that they use to try and keep us divided. Any decent person should fully support ending child trafficking and exploitation, and worse. Why am I talking about this? Why am I talking about this? Because there's something there, folks. Something big that they don't want you to see. There are huge powers that be who are trying to either take this whole operation down, meaning end child trafficking and exploitation, or there are huge powers on the other side trying to distract the public in every way you can think of. Distract the public from what is going down this rabbit hole. And if you want, and if you are ready for some more red pilling, and for those who are new to this term, red pilling is a term taken from the movie The Matrix, the 1999 movie The Matrix, where you take the red pill and you see the truth and you can't go back from that. If you are ready for some more red pilling, I invite you to go down this rabbit hole. I do. Dive on in. You think this isn't a big deal? Google how many children go missing in the United States each year. Or Google how many children go missing in the world every year. Dig in. 800,000 is the first thing that comes up. 800,000 children go missing in just the United States every year. And let's say that those numbers are inflated. Okay, let's do the benefit of the doubt thing. Even though we know that missing persons are underreported, even though we know that, let's cut that number in half and say that 400,000 kids go missing in the US every year. And that's only the US. Add up every other country and you will see that the world has a big, big problem. When there have been 143,000 reported deaths attributed to COVID in the United States since March. And we all know so many of those numbers are just trash. We didn't at first, but now we're seeing all these things. Oh, these people are in line and they left the line, they never got tested, and they get their test results saying that they're positive a couple weeks later, a couple days later. And, we all have heard that story where somebody died in a car accident and on their death certificate, they're writing cause of death is COVID. Why? Why are people inflating these numbers? You have to ask, why is this happening? 800,000 children every year in the US go missing. Why aren't people marching in the streets about that? Why aren't we hearing about that? That is an epidemic. That's a pandemic. Because they don't want you to know. But why? Why don't they want you to know that? Go and find out. You want to start waking up to some hard 3D truths? Go down this rabbit hole. I don't care who you are or what news you listen to or any of that. I don't care. Go down this rabbit hole. Find out why 800,000 children are going missing in the US every year and around the world. Find that Out of Shadows documentary on YouTube or wherever they've had to put it now because it keeps getting taken down. Type in some keywords on Twitter, because you don't need a Twitter account to go type in keywords and find what people are talking about. And why Twitter? Why am I saying that? Why would I ever say that? Because the news is trash. You can find real people talking about real things on Twitter, and I would have never said that a year ago, ever. You won't find this stuff being covered in the mainstream media right now. Not yet. I think it probably will be soon, but not yet. This goes way deeper than Epstein, okay? But you have to do your own research for the moment. You have to do the digging, and you'll find it. It's there. But you have to do your own research. Go find out about this, because this is a real problem. Millions of children disappearing every year around the world. Why? Go find out. Go on. Go down this rabbit hole. This is what they want to distract you from, and it's hidden in plain sight. Go find out. Okay. Whew. That is what my guidance brought through for today. We're going to move on now. Enough of the 3D realities. We're going to bring the vibe back up. I felt compelled to go there, and I listened to my guidance. And those of you who listen to this podcast know that I don't do things like that very often. Not like that. Let's raise our vibrations up a bit now. Let's breathe. And again. We're coming back to the observer deck now. Here we go. I want to talk now about programming. From the moment that we are acknowledged as a soul that is going to be born on this planet, we have entered a space in which we have an opportunity to become programmed. Gender and sex programs. Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Cultural conditioning. Earrings or no earrings. Circumcision or no circumcision. Gree-gree or no gree-gree. Endless storybooks with themes, TV shows and movies with subliminal messaging, the schooling system that decides what we learn, and popular music that has its own agenda, and on and on and on. And I'm not saying that all this is bad. No, not at all. Some programs are extremely good and useful and will keep you safe and happy, like self-love programs, confidence programs, a kindness program, etc. As we mature, we get to look back and take stock of what programs are useful and still serving us, and what programs we are ready to let go of and replace with new ones. Most everything on this planet is a human construct. It was created by a human for a purpose, with an intention. And that could be a positive, pure intention, hopefully, or it could be a negative, impure intention. And unfortunately, too much of what we are programmed with has negative intentions behind it. At least this is what has been arising in my consciousness of late. And the message is, it's time to clear out the gunk and let the high vibes come in. Deprogram your mind and become a truth magnet. And this brings me to introducing a live course, a new live course that I will be co-leading with Julia Malone, my partner in bliss. This course is called Exit the Matrix. This is a 3-week live course that you can take from anywhere in the world. And it takes a deep dive into subconscious clearing and becoming aware of and deprogramming and releasing old negative conditioning and trashing any subliminal messaging that we have picked up over a lifetime on this planet. Letting go of all of that as much as we are able to, and reprogramming to bring the divine and universal truths closer to us because they are right there. They're right there. So many of us, myself included, just need to continue the clearing process and allowing the universal truths to come in because they are right there and ready for you to see them. This work is deep and it will change you. You will not be the same person that you were before this course, before doing this work. This is a deep dive. If you are hearing this when it airs, if you're hearing this when it airs in mid-July 2020, we are running this course at the beginning of August in 2020. If you're hearing this episode later, we are most likely still running this course. This is important. This is coming into consciousness right now. We anticipate doing this often. So you can still check out our live course website to see when the next round of this course is. This is such an important thing right now as we continue to move through this earth transition, through this great awakening. And by you clearing out and doing your own inner work, you are actually tangibly helping the planet and everyone on it to move forward. And this is where the John F. Kennedy phrase, where we go one, we go all, comes in. Because on a universal level, we are all connected. We really are. So when I am doing my own inner work, when I have attained a level of understanding, or I have learned a lesson that maybe has taken me my whole life to learn, when I have done that, I am elevating and I'm actually helping those around me to do so too. And you are too. You are too. Every time you do your own inner work, you are helping not only yourself, you're helping everyone around you, and that ripples out. It truly, truly does. And I've been seeing this more everywhere lately, all around. So this is important stuff. Do your own inner work. It doesn't have to be in this course. This is going to be a great course. We have some awesome tools between the two of us. We have our angelic teams and we have our awesome tools that are really good at clearing out old negative programming, things that are ready to leave, clearing out our cellular memories from old toxic conditioning, subliminal messaging that we literally aren't even aware of. Subconscious clearing. We have a lot of great tools, but I encourage and urge anyone listening to this to do your work. We all need to do our work right now, and that is how the world is changing. And it's changing fast. It's changing fast. And for those of you who need an uplifting note here, I truly believe and truly know with every cell in my body that this planet is going up. We are raising in vibration. And yes, it may look scary now on many levels, but it will not be like this forever. And in fact, it's changing very, very quickly. So hang in there. I know a lot of folks, I know a lot of light workers and way showers and whatever, label you want to put on them. I'm not super into labels. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not, I guess. But wherever you're at, there's a lot of people who are feeling tired, who are feeling exhausted, who are hurting in their physical bodies, who want to leave the planet, all of these things, okay? We came here for this. We came here for this transition, so hang in there, y'all. Hang in there, okay? Do your own work. If you need to sleep all day, do it. If you need to, feed yourself really high vibe food and have good conversation, do it. If you need to cry all day, do it. But do your work and keep going. Do your work and keep going. If you're interested in this course, Exit the Matrix, it is an excellent price. I promise you, we wanted to make it really accessible, super duper accessible. So 3 weeks, amazing modalities wrapped into this. And this is a deep dive. You will be changed. You can find out more information about this course by going to www.realizeyourawakening.com. This is our website for all of our live courses. This is not the same as my Up and Awaken community. They are related, but this is a different website where we host our live courses. www.realizeyourawakening.com. And that's your with YOUR. realizeyourawakening.com. And check it out. We have a whole bunch more details about the Exit the Matrix course. And like I said before, I have a feeling that we are going to be running this often. And with the prices that we're offering at, you will most likely be able to join it. So check it out and come deprogram with us and come become a truth magnet with us. Thank you all for listening. I'm going to leave it there for today. I am truly sending my love, my heartfelt soul love to all of you. No matter who you are a soul, you came to this planet. I salute you. I honor you. Thank you for doing this. This is not an easy planet to be on. And we all know this. A lot of people know this. A lot of light workers who came to this planet, and this is their first time or one of their only times on this planet. So many people have been on this planet for so long. Oh, now I'm going on a tangent, but it's not an easy planet at this exact moment, okay? It's going to get easier. We came here to help to make it easier, and actually so awesome to be on this planet very soon. We know it's hard. Stay here. Keep doing your work. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for listening. Stay neutral. Stay safe. And exit the matrix.
We hope you enjoyed this episode. The statements and advice offered in this podcast are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or medical condition, and are not substitutes for prudent medical care offered by a licensed medical professional. The Let's Get Metaphysical podcast is an up, and awaken production. Our intention is to raise the vibration of the planet by sharing, validating, and normalizing spiritual and metaphysical experiences. The show is produced and hosted by Renata Maniaci, creator of Up, and Awaken, a platform devoted to creating conscious content to assist in the awakening currently taking place on this planet. If you want to see more from Up, and Awaken, please subscribe to the Up, and Awaken Productions channel on YouTube. If you are enjoying the podcast, let us know. Visit our website at letsgetmeta.com or shoot us an email at info@letsgetmeta.com. Subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Give us a 5-star rating or write us a review on your podcast app. You can like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram at Let's Get Meta. Share the podcast with your friends. We want this high vibe content to reach as many aligned ears as possible. If you are looking for support in your awakening process, please consider becoming a member of our Up, and Awaken community on Patreon. Patrons in this community both give support to the conscious content that Ren creates, like this podcast, and receive support in their awakening via the community's offerings, including courses, live group healings, and an interactive community. You can join the Up, and Awaken community by visiting patreon.com/letsgetmeta. Let's Get Meta is almost entirely listener supported. If you love the show and want to support it, you can still become a patron of the podcast at patreon.com/letsgetmeta. We appreciate all types of support. It helps keep this show going. Thank you for listening. Stay meta.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.
Let's get meta.
Metaphysical.